So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight to the information of today. Everything we are going to be talking about today is very, very, very important. I hope you all are doing great. And to get straight to the information of today, number one information, right? Mali has taken the case of Algeria to the ICC, but there is a widespread belief that, the ICC is still working for the same organization that works for the organization that is in collaboration with Algeria and Mauritania and, several other people that are working for the same purpose of making the AES conform back to the status quo of the unipolar order. It is just a stratum, right? The West always sees Africa as, the sub of, but at the end of the day, ECOWAS, AU was designed to serve the hegemon. It's just stratas of control and command, but the AES is becoming a unipolar bloc in Africa. Economically, they are emerging, their economy is growing, and they don't bow to no oppression. They don't take rules from anyone. So based on this consecutive provocations from the Algerian neighbors, according to the information we have, the defense chiefs of North Korea are currently proposing the supply of ballistics to the AES state. Now, the reason why they are considering the supply of this ballistics to the AES state, based on this anonymous report being given, anonymous reporter giving this report, saying that the reason why they are considering the supply of ballistics to the AES is so as to beef up their defense deterrence capability, so that the enemies will have to think twice before they make some kind of hostile move the next time, because it is widely believed that, look, the ICC would not do anything. According to the information we're given, Mali has even reported the previous case of their Akinci drone, their Akinci Baraktar drone being shot down. They reported to both ICC and United Nations Security Council, but nothing was done. When you don't have a seat in the United Nations Security Council, what can you do? So to me, I subscribe to the North Korean idea. The AES is a block. Now, they're not supplying it to maybe a particular state. They're considering, supplying it to the entire block itself, the AES. And let's not forget, you see all these meetings that are happening, sending envoys to the AES state. And one time you hear some kind of blackmail propaganda, attacks here and there. We know who is doing these things, just the way President Donald Trump during his first regime was having diplomatic talk with North Korea, and at the same time they were doing some covert operation to kind of destabilize the North Korean. So when you see the pattern of all these attacks that's going on in the Sahel, you look at the weapons that are being deployed by these local militias, right? These are local militias, right? Very, very local. I mean, they're not even in the level of the average Africans, right? These guys are like poorest of the poorest in Africa. But at the end of the day, you see them with guns that, an average Nigerian or average African might not be able to afford, because in this video, we're going to show you some of the weapons that have just been recovered in, today's attack in Kanjari, because, the enemies are from, when we talk about JNIM is from a particular ethnic tribe. And one thing you have to know about this ethnic group is that, look, yeah, you might say they are bad, you might say whatever, but one thing about them is that they don't give up easily. In my own opinion, you have to crush them to the point where their assault capability have to be reduced to zero before you can, make them capitulate. Because as long as they have this offensive combat capability, they are going to keep coming back. I think it's something about their religious belief, and these people worship their own death. They see it as a road to immortality. They see it as a road to 72 virgins and all of that, but that's their business. So North Korea is now proposing that ballistics defense capability to the AES, What do you think about it? Do you think it's something that the AES should consider? Do you think it's something they should accept? Or do you think they should reject it? Maybe it can lead to some type of escalation and all of that, but I don't know. But in my own opinion, I feel like, having uh, ballistic defense capability is something that is very, very good. Not only just having it supplied to you, but, getting homegrown engineers to go out there and learn how to, maybe produce some, locally made ballistic, weapons, that would be very, very great. We can make our own guns and all of that. But at the end of the day, getting ballistics in Africa is like a next level development when it comes to warfare and combat capability. But let's go to the next information, right? In Burkina Faso, the patriotic values is beginning to grow by the day among the citizens. Now we have citizens talking about being loyal to the country. We see citizens going on rally. You don't see party flags. The loyalty of the country is not being balkanized. Let me tell you something. You see this old thing, I'm PDP, I'm APC, I'm Labour Party, I'm AMPP, I'm SDC, I'm SDP, and all those things. Your loyalty, your patriotism has been strategically balkanized. And you have to understand this thing, because you are no longer loyal to the country. People would rather have their country enter the ground than their party lose an election. We have to understand where we are going. Recently you can see the videos of Africans trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea, to get to Europe. But at the end of the day, I don't know if those people will survive, this journey. Just look at the video, right? That's so pathetic. You can actually see a woman carrying a very little baby to go through this very, very, gut-wrenching journey, in my own opinion, because this is disappointing to watch, right? But these people don't understand that, what we all must understand is that, look, either by hook or by crook, we must be patriotic. Because at the end of the day, let me ask you a question, right? Why do you think there is migration, there is immigration policy by the entire Western nation? Why? No, I'm asking you this question now. You see the West as your safe haven. Your continent is richer than theirs, right? But they created this migration policy, right? You come in. And why did you want to go there? Because your economy is bad. Your purchasing power is zero. Because there's terrorism. Internally displaced, externally displaced. A lot of Nigerians travel overseas, or Africans travel overseas for security reasons, right? We've seen recently the Ghanaians, running to Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso, because of security reasons, right? Internal conflict between the citizens. So you ask yourself, why is terrorism increasing, right? And why are they giving you asylum? Why is the asylum? Why? This thing doesn't make any sense. Their economy is crashing, but they are still opening these doors. Why do you think the door are being opened? It is for a reason. A day will come. If you continue to migrate like this, they will buy out your entire country, and there will be nothing for you to go back to. They will deport you back to an empty land when they have superior control over everything you have. So it's better you become patriotic and pursue a better tomorrow. But the problem? You still have people that will sell the next 5 years of their life for just a penny, maybe probably 3,000 naira in my country, to buy your vote. When you buy your vote, calculate the number of years. Just add those number of years to your age and, derive the outcome. That is it. So ask yourself, in the next 5 years of my life, where would I be? In the next 7 years of my life, where would I be? I will have kids. What is the future? What is the opportunity? What is the prospect for those kids? We have to sacrifice for the sake of patriotism, for glory's sake. We must sacrifice now. We won't be here forever, you have to understand that. But for the sake and the reason of the fact that we won't be here forever, we have to build our today so that tomorrow our children will be proud that who are these people that made this sacrifice. Remember, history is written by the winners. It's better you win now so that you can write a good history, or else the West will continue to write our history for us. Let's move forward, right? You can see Burkina youths in the rain.
La patrie, nous allons la défendre. La patrie, la patrie, la patrie, nous allons la défendre. Les bacheliers sont là pour l'immersion. Les bacheliers sont là pour l'immersion. En avant, en avant. Les bacheliers sont là pour l'immersion. Les bacheliers sont là pour l'immersion. En avant, en avant, en avant, en avant pour la victoire.
You can see them. Now, I know a lot of Nigerians are going to be like, look at them, look at the whole place. They're like, I saw somebody saying, you people talk about Burkina Faso being a great place, but you still have red sound and all of that. Man, I don't want to show you what my environment look like. I don't want to show you. I'm in Nigeria. I don't want to show you what my environment look like, You see, the impressive thing about this, right, is how Burkina Faso continue to grow on so many levels. Structurally, mentally, spiritually, in terms of unity, in terms of core value, like everything, morality, everything on so many levels, right? You have young generation, which are the building blocks of the future of this country. They are learning patriotism. They are not being forced to do this anymore. I just want you to understand this. These people are not being forced to do this anymore. There's a difference between, hey, please come outside, let's do this thing. And when are we doing it? So citizens are living among themselves, being patriotic. You don't pay them to give ISR to the military. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have seen. And in my country, our youths are watching Big Brother Niger, or youths are doing this latest dance that is, all over the place. Now, trying to do leg work and all of that. That is the future. That is the future, And if you ask a young Nigerian where do you want to go to, the first place most of them would mention is Miami. No reputable pathway, no normal pathway to the future, but they just have this pipe dreams, hoping that they can just wake up all of a sudden and find themselves at the top. What is going on in Burkina Faso is actually something that you can be proud of, to be honest with you. I bring you no lies. Now, we have a situation, right? There is this talk going on here and there that, look, the Burkinabes, Captain Ibrahim Traore, because sometimes the RFI drop this clickbait type of title that draws you in, then they spread this negative propaganda in it, right? The first thing you see is they call the president of the AES, they call them juntas. Once you see that juntas, it drives me nuts. And the next thing is just start saying different type of negative things about, even when they want to give credibility, they want to honor the credibilities of these leaders, they still try to, throw some spanner in. Look, you are not loved. You have to understand that right now. No Western person loves you. I saw a video recently of some French citizen dancing with kids in Burkina Faso, right? There's nothing bad in that, but we don't want that dance. Don't dance in Burkina Faso. Take your dance to your country. What is that? You have to see the mindset of those people. It's the mindset that's been passed to them by their parents. We don't need those people here. Why are you? France is supposed to be the better. Why are you in Burkina Faso? Why are you, I was on duty the other time, and there was this white guy that came around and, stood, like, everybody who was on the queue, and he stayed on the side, hoping that I would look at him, and because it's a white guy, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna laugh, right? I was attending to a lot of people, and he stood right there. And everybody were coming in, they were falling in the same queue. I was attending to them. And it came to a point, he was like, sorry, I've been here. I was like, go to the back of that queue and behave yourself. Behave yourself. And the next thing, the black guy that came with him was like, we are from, I was like, go and tell the MD of the hospital that I said, you all should go back to the back of that queue. This is not some market square where you can behave anyhow. I know everybody's not like me, but I'm a different African person, different to the core. Right? I love my people to the end of me. I'm not one of those that look at complexion and no, I don't do that. So let's go forward, right? They talk about Captain Ibrahim Traore. They talk about Burkinabe army in a very negative way. But look at this video. Watch this video, right? If the army in my country, no military, you will be the one carrying the military, not the military men carrying you like this. They'll probably even give you a slap after transporting them. Let's continue the whole thing, right? So we have a situation where we are now in a place in Burkina Faso right now where Captain Ibrahim Traore is actually paying visitation to farmers, and even though he has sent the people that are in charge of observing the agro-pastoral offensive initiative, Captain Ibrahim Traore himself is now going around and, observing, encouraging the farmers to do more.
Voilà.
la gente la poca arata kuma na awa ka bala nyosa na chino na chuma ya bala ya wala na chino na wallahi na chuma hada kwanso so to bala tuma kera na tuma na shaka tuma ala ya dela kama inshallah tumtero hawa fa kana nyema wala ni hawa wala
Déjà bon, c'est déjà bon.
C'est un épi, là,
Oui, et puis il frotte.
Lui, il connaît comment ça se fait.
Oui, lui il connaît. Ah. Tu vois? Voilà, qui demandait là? Voilà, on a vu. Ah, donc, président Mala n'est reconnu. Président Mala n'est
donc
voilà.
On va prendre la photo là. Voilà, on a eu cap de Burkina Faso.
Sare Momin. Ya Moara. Moara. Ah, Boussanga. Ah, ok. D'accord.
You know, Africa agriculture is like our natural gift. Is the land is good, the weather is good, you know, the soil texture, everything is excellent, and I really give a lot of credit to the Burkinabe farmers. You know, giving waking up, you know, agriculture again. And according to what we heard, the teachers are now well paid in Burkina Faso, extremely paid in Burkina Faso. And in my country, you know, the teachers are like the last of the least. But that's a very big mistake, because these are the people that sows, you know, they sow in the core values, they build the kids, and the kids, it is what they grow with at that point that is going to take them into the future. I do tell a lot of people, education in Nigeria, it ends at secondary school level. You see, the university, a lot of people don't even know what they are doing. You don't get taught nothing. How many graduates in Nigeria can produce anything? That's a big question. But in Burkina Faso now, teachers, you know, at the lower level, at the basic level to the tertiary level, they are getting trained. You know, kids are getting trained on artificial intelligence. The civic education is now getting incorporated compulsorily. Not the civic education we do here. No, the real civic education is being done in the AES. That's what we're talking about. So pay the visits to the farmers, and you know, this is just one of the videos. We have a lot of them, but we don't want to bug you with all of that, right? So we have a video, we have a picture of the Burkinabe assault team, you know, on parade somewhere inside Burkina Faso. We don't know, but they just posted a picture. So if you look at this video, if you look at the picture, you can see 5 Burkinabe soldiers, and there are 5 there. There are 4 that you can see. There's 1 person holding the camera, right? So making 5. So you know, this is the assault team, like, you know, on some type of mission. You know, it's not a containment. The containment squad is bigger than this. Like, these are elite guys. You know, spiritually they're elite too. You know, they find the gaps behind the enemy line. They explore the gaps. You know, the solve it. Now you would say like, okay, when 700 JNI come against us 5, what will happen? No, it doesn't happen like that. You know, this type of people don't get found. You know what I mean? Because they are moving with good ISR. They're moving with good intelligence and good surveillance. And a lot of people do think like for every big contest has to end in a bullet exchange, in a firefight or something. No, these people working on you covertly. You don't even know they're coming. They catch you unawares, and the dust is all over the place. The enemy don't even get to respond because they were taken how to surprise. So you get what I'm saying? So that is just a Burkinabe assault team. I've been talking about Burkinabe assault team a lot of time, and people will feel like, okay, maybe I'm just talking, maybe I'm just making this stuff up from somewhere. Now you can see like some Burkinabe assault team, right? It doesn't mean that now when you start expecting an assault team that you might be expecting 5. Sometimes you might have more than 200 people coming at you. So don't think I'm giving it. You don't think I'm giving out an intel actually. So today there was an assault there was an offensive ambush in the Kanchari barrack. Kanchari yesterday marked a defeat to the JNIM. Now, this is the thing. What the JNIM actually did here was actually smart, but it ended up in another failure. You can be smart, but you have some people that will outsmart you. The thing is, for you to be outsmarted, it means you are smart, but it just means that the people that you are going against are better than you, so they get to outsmart you. So the JNIM came just a day after the brutal defeat they suffered in Kanchari, right? What they were trying to do is to send an assault team that was going to breach the defense capability of the Kanchari barrack, and once they do it, they were going to call for backup, right? So, but unfortunately, all the JNIM assault team were neutralized. Now, when I talk about elite JNIM offensive team, these guys don't use AK-47. They go on pure PKMs. They go on PKMs. They don't go on AK-47. They go on PKMs, all true. And their bipod is always available with them. But this time around, everything was recovered. Their motorcycles was recovered. You have some tattered scriptures on the floor that maybe they mashed or something. And you have their guns recovered. Now, when you look at the caliber of this weapon, man, this is the West going against the AES. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the area view, of this particular barrack, it was given by the enemy sources, right? This area view was not given by the government source or this is an area view of the enemy. It was posted by their spokesperson. So that they have good ISR equally, but that's why I said you can be smart sometimes, but you get outsmarted by the people that are smarter than you. So what happened was that they launched this offensive, right? Believing they have the intel, believing they had the superior intel, but by the time they got in, the anti-vehicle or motorcycle ditch was already there. And for you to fly over to cross that ditch, you have to go either through the only way into the barrack, or you have to walk into the ditch and try to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, what they did was they tried to use a wooden slab to cover the ditch while they go over it, but it wasn't possible because the other side of the ditch, the soil was very, very high, so they couldn't even place anything. So they were circling around the whole place, but the Burkinabes were already in position, and the exchange was very, very quick. They neutralized them. Their cell phones were recovered. Everything that was recoverable was actually recovered. Now, we have to take note of something. Before they got into the barrack, right, you ask a question that, okay, a very small assault team of less than 20, what would they have done against the barrack? Ladies and gentlemen, they actually shot several FPV drones, FPV UAV into the barrack. But according to the information we were given, the Burkinabe military were taking turns shooting down these FPV UAVs. Now, a lot of people will ask the question, why were they so confident to the point that they were taking turns to shoot down the FPV UAV? That was because they were using the cord shells, shells, right? These are bullets that when you shoot it, it scatters around the whole place. This is not like AK-47 rifle. No, when you shoot the cut shells, it blows up, and about 200, metallic burrs actually flies out of it, right? And the next thing you have is like, no matter how good that FPV UAV is, it's actually going to crash because the shotgun actually brings it down. So they were exchanging like, I'm gonna go for that. No, you are going to go for this. So the attack was actually, it was an ambush, but at the end of the day, it became a mess. And the troops actually, it shows how capable the Kanshari unit is. No matter what these enemies do, it only ends one way. It ends in the Burkinabe's way. And that's because Burkina Faso only negotiates with an hostile neighbor or hostile person from a place of strength through overwhelming firepower. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I draw the curtain for today, the 6th of September 2025. It's your boy 7200 signing out enough server before I go. Now I'm going to have a lot of time for you guys now. So salute, much respect. I see you when next I see you. Love you. Bye-bye.